Have you ever felt that reality, as we know it, is just the surface of something much deeper? That consciousness itself might be capable of traveling beyond the limits of your physical body. Welcome back to the channel, Seekers of the Hidden. Today, we're venturing into one of the most fascinating and controversial realms of human experience: consciousness projection. Now, you've likely heard of lucid dreaming, where you become aware within your dreams. Perhaps you're familiar with deep meditation states where the boundaries of self seem to dissolve. But these are just the beginning, the mere foothills of what consciousness exploration can truly offer. For thousands of years across every culture on Earth, from Tibetan dream yogis to indigenous shamans, from Egyptian mystery schools to modern laboratory researchers, people have documented techniques for safely projecting consciousness beyond the physical body. And most intriguing part, many of their accounts share striking similarities, despite emerging from cultures that never contacted each other. In today's video, we'll explore practical techniques that go beyond basic meditation and dreaming. We'll examine methods drawn from ancient traditions, verified by modern practitioners, and even supported by certain frontier areas of science. These are techniques that anyone, yes, even you, can begin to practice and experience. But first, a word of caution. Consciousness projection isn't just another mindfulness exercise. It represents a fundamental shift in how you experience reality. It can shake the foundations of your belief systems and transform your understanding of what it means to be human. Those who venture into these realms often return changed in ways both subtle and profound. So if you're ready to explore the boundaries where conventional reality ends and the greater mysteries begin, stay with me. The journey we're about to embark on may just be the most important exploration you'll ever undertake. Not outward into the physical cosmos, but inward and beyond into the limitless realms of consciousness itself. Before we dive into specific techniques, it's important to understand where these practices come from and what modern science has to say about them. Consciousness projection isn't a modern invention. It appears in human records dating back thousands of years. The ancient Egyptians called it the awakening of the Ka, or light body. Their Book of the Dead contains specific instructions for navigating consciousness through different dimensions after death, suggesting these were skills to be practiced while alive. In India, the Upanishads describe Turiya, a fourth state of consciousness beyond waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, where pure awareness can travel independently of the physical form. Tibetan Buddhists developed dream yoga and Phawa, consciousness transfer, detailed practices for projecting awareness beyond the body. The indigenous peoples of the Americas speak of spirit walking. Australian Aboriginals describe the Dreamtime journeys. The ancient mystery schools of Greece practiced what they called theoria, a state where consciousness travels to realms normally invisible to physical senses. But what does modern science say about all this? For decades, these experiences were dismissed as mere hallucination or fantasy. But the scientific landscape is shifting. Research at institutions like the Monroe Institute has documented thousands of cases of consciousness projection, many with verifiable elements that subjects couldn't have known through normal means. Dr. Sam Parney's AWARE studies at multiple hospitals have recorded cases where cardiac arrest patients with no measurable brain activity accurately reported events and conversations occurring around their bodies, sometimes in rooms far from where their physical forms lay. Quantum physics has increasingly suggested that consciousness itself may be non-local, not confined to the brain or even to specific points in space-time. The pioneering work of physicists like David Bohm and philosophers like Thomas Nagel has opened legitimate scientific inquiry into expanded states of consciousness. Neuroscientist Dr. Christoph Koch, chief scientist of the Allen Institute for Brain Science, has stated, The theory of consciousness that I'm advocating implies that consciousness is much more widespread than conventionally assumed. It may even be universal. Even skeptical institutions like the CIA and former Soviet Union invested millions in research into remote viewing, a structured form of consciousness projection with documented successes that defy conventional explanation. But perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from the striking consistency of reports across cultures, ages, and experiences. From ancient mystics to modern experiencers with no knowledge of esoteric traditions, accounts of consciousness projection share remarkable similarities. One, the sensation of vibrations or buzzing during the initial separation. Two, the experience of moving through a tunnel or portal. Three, encounters with a boundary or threshold between dimensions, for the ability to observe physical reality from outside the body. Five, an altered perception of time and space. Six, encounters with other non-physical consciousnesses. These consistencies suggest we may be dealing not with cultural programming or hallucination, but with a genuine human capacity, one that most of us simply haven't been taught to access. And that brings us to the heart of today's video. Practical techniques that allow you to safely experience this remarkable human capacity yourself. Before exploring specific techniques, we must address 3 essential preparations that significantly increase your chances of successful consciousness projection. First is physical preparation. Your body is the launch pad for consciousness exploration, and its condition matters significantly. The best practices include 1. Sleep regulation. Establish a consistent sleep schedule. Consciousness projection is more accessible when your body is well rested, but your mind remains alert. 2. Dietary adjustments. Reduce heavy foods, especially in the evening. Ancient projection traditions across cultures recommend lighter eating, vegetables, fruits, and whole grains, and avoiding alcohol, excessive sugar, and stimulants like caffeine at least 4 to 6 hours before practice. 3. Physical resonance. Regular exercise, particularly yoga, tai chi, qigong, or other practices that synchronize breath and movement, creates the subtle energy flows that support consciousness movement. Even 15 minutes daily makes a difference. Second is environmental preparation. Your physical space significantly impacts your ability to project consciousness. Key elements include 1. Sacred space creation. Designate a specific area solely for consciousness practices. Even a small corner of a room, consistently used, develops energy patterns that support projection. 2. Electromagnetic hygiene. Electronic devices emit fields that can disrupt subtle consciousness states. Remove or unplug all electronics from your practice space, or at minimum, turn them off completely. 3. Sound conditioning. Complete silence works for some, but many find specific sound frequencies enhance projection. Binaural beats between 4 to 7 hertz, theta waves, are particularly effective, as are certain types of singing bowl recordings or shamanic drumming at 4 to 7 beats per second. 4. Temperature consideration. Slightly cooler than normal room temperature, around 65-68 degree F/18-20 degrees C, creates ideal conditions as body temperature naturally drops during consciousness projection. Third, and most crucial, is mental preparation. Your mind's condition is the single most important factor in successful projection. 1. Intention setting. Before each practice session, clearly articulate your intention. Not vague curiosity, but specific purpose. I will maintain conscious awareness as my consciousness separate from my physical body, or I will explore the immediate non-physical environment surrounding my home. 2. Fear processing. Fear is the primary barrier to successful projection. Most people unconsciously tense at the moment of separation. Before beginning practices, Honestly identify your fears. Fear of not returning, encountering entities, or discovering reality isn't what you thought. Write these fears down, examine them rationally, and consciously release them. 3. Expectation management. Remove expectations about what projection should feel like. Every person's experience is unique. Some see vivid visuals. Others sense presence without imagery. Some hear distinct sounds. Others experience knowing without audio. Your consciousness has its own natural mode of perception. 4. Belief system examination. Your deepest beliefs about reality create permissions or barriers for consciousness movement. If you fundamentally believe consciousness is merely brain activity, projection experiences will be limited. Temporarily suspend disbelief. Approaching practice with genuine openness to possibilities beyond your current understanding. With these preparations in place, your foundation for consciousness projection becomes much stronger. Now let's move to the specific techniques that will allow your consciousness to safely explore beyond ordinary physical limitations. Now we'll explore 5 powerful techniques for consciousness projection, each approaching the experience from a different angle. I recommend experimenting with all 5 to discover which resonates most with your unique consciousness. Technique 1, the mind awake / body asleep method. This technique, popularized by Robert Monroe, founder of the Monroe Institute, creates the ideal state for projection by keeping your mind alert while allowing your body to enter sleep paralysis. Step 1, lie comfortably on your back, arms at your sides, in a location where you won't be disturbed. The time just before natural sleep or just after waking, especially 4 to 6 a.m., offers optimal conditions. Step 2, begin progressive relaxation. Starting at your feet, tense each muscle group for 5 to 7 seconds, then release completely. Move upward through your entire body. Calves, thighs, abdomen, chest, hands, arms, shoulders, neck, and face. Step 3, when physically relaxed, deepen with breath. Inhale to count of 4, hold for count of 2, exhale to count of 4, hold for count of 2. Continue for 5 to 10 minutes until breathing becomes automatic and your body feels heavy and distant. Step 4, while maintaining relaxation, shift focus to keeping your mind alert. One effective method is to imagine climbing or descending a staircase, counting each step. This gives your conscious mind a task while the body enters sleep state. Step 5, as your body approaches sleep, you'll notice distinctive signs of the hypnagogic state: floating sensations, unusual sounds, voices, or geometric patterns behind closed eyelids. These are doorways to projection. Step 6, when you feel vibrations or buzzing sensations described by Monroe as the vibration state, don't get excited or you'll break the state. Simply observe the sensation spreading through your body. Step 7, with vibrations established, visualize gently sitting up or floating upward, not with your physical body, but with your consciousness. Intention is key here. Don't strain or force. Simply know you are moving. The success indicator is a sensation of movement while your physical body remains still. You may perceive your room exactly as it is, or with subtle differences. You're now in the initial stage of consciousness projection. Technique 2, the target immersion method. For those who find a mind awake / body asleep approach challenging, this technique bypasses the vibration state by using focused immersion in a target location. Step 1, choose a familiar location different from where your body rests, perhaps another room in your home. Select a specific spot like a chair or window where you'll position your projected consciousness. Step 2, enter a meditative state through 10 to 15 minutes of breath focus or your preferred meditation technique. Step 3, Begin vividly imagining your target location. This is not casual visualization, but immersive engagement of all senses. What would you see from that exact spot? What sounds would you hear? What textures would you feel? How would the air feel on your skin? What scents might you notice? Step 4. As the imagined location becomes increasingly vivid, introduce a specific intention. I am shifting my perceptual awareness to this location now. Repeat this intention with each breath. Step 5. Watch for a distinctive shift where the target location suddenly feels more real than your physical setting. The imagery becomes clearer, not because you're imagining better, but because you're actually perceiving from that location. Step 6. Once perception shifts, remain calm and stabilized by focusing on details of your new location. Touch objects, observe specific details, and remain present without excitement or analytical thought. Many practitioners find this method creates a dual awareness, simultaneously feeling your physical body and your projected consciousness. With practice, you can shift attention fully to your projected awareness. Technique 3, the Hypnagogic Doorway method. This technique utilizes hypnagogic imagery, the spontaneous visions occurring at the edge of sleep, as direct portals for consciousness projection. Step 1. As with the first technique, lie comfortably as you would for sleep, preferably during early morning hours when a mind is naturally close to theta brainwave states. Step 2. Allow yourself to approach the edge of sleep, but maintain a thread of awareness by setting a clear intention. I will remain conscious as imagery appears. Step 3. As hypnagogic images begin to appear, don't passively observe them. Actively engage with one that draws your attention. If you see a landscape, intend to move toward it. If you see a doorway, intend to approach and pass through it. Step 4. When fully engaging with an image, your perception will suddenly shift from watching to being within the scene. This transition happens rapidly. Your consciousness has now projected into the reality represented by the hypnagogic image. Step 5. Once projection occurs, ground your awareness by touching objects in this environment or focusing on specific details. This stabilizes the projection and prevents premature return to the body. This method is particularly effective for those with active visual imagination and can lead to extraordinary projection experiences beyond the immediate physical environment. We'll continue with the final 2 techniques in the next section, along with guidance on how to maintain, navigate, and safely return from projected states. Technique 4, the sound current method. This powerful approach uses auditory pathways rather than visual or kinesthetic ones, making it ideal for those with strong auditory orientation. It draws from Shabda yoga and certain Sufi practices. Step 1. Sit upright in a comfortable position with your spine straight, either in a chair or cross-legged on a cushion. This technique works better in a seated position rather than lying down. Step 2. Close your eyes and shift attention to your auditory field. Don't focus on external sounds, but rather turn your hearing inward. Step 3. Within 5 to 10 minutes of silent, inward listening, you'll begin noticing subtle internal sounds. Most commonly, people first perceive a high-pitched ringing, buzzing, or the sound of rushing wind. This is what esoteric traditions call the sound current or audible life stream. Step 4. Once you identify the sound, place your full attention on it. Don't try to analyze or label it. Simply follow it with unwavering focus. The sound will gradually intensify and may change in character. Step 5. As the sound becomes more pronounced, introduce the intention to merge with it completely. Imagine your consciousness flowing into the sound itself. Step 6. At a certain point, the sound will shift from something you're hearing to something you're experiencing from within. This subtle but unmistakable transition is the moment of projection. Many practitioners report this method leads to particularly clear and stable projections, often in a non-physical dimensions rather than the immediate physical environment. Technique 5, the phase space method, developed by Michael Raduga and researchers at the Phase Research Center. This method uses the powerful potential of the moment immediately after waking. It has shown remarkably high success rates, even for beginners. Step 1. Set an alarm to wake you after 6 hours of sleep. When it sounds, get up for 3 to 5 minutes, just long enough to become fully alert. Drink a small amount of water, use the bathroom if needed, and remind yourself of your intention to project your consciousness. Step 2. Return to bed and lie on your back or side, whichever is more comfortable. As you begin to drift off, mentally repeat, "When I next awaken, I will remain perfectly still and immediately attempt a consciousness projection." Step 3. Upon awakening again, usually 10 to 90 minutes later, remain completely still. Don't open your eyes or move your physical body. This is crucial. Even small movements can anchor consciousness firmly back in the body. Step 4. Immediately begin cycling through these 3 separation techniques, spending no more than 3 to 5 seconds on each before moving to the next. Visualize yourself swimming or climbing a rope. Listen for and amplify any internal sounds. Try to feel vibrations in your body or create the sensation by imagining them. Step 5. As soon as you notice any unusual sensation, floating, vibration, sound, or imagery, immediately use one of these exit methods. Roll out of your body, not physically, but with your awareness. Float upward. Stand up with your consciousness while feeling your physical body remain in bed. Visualize a location and instantly teleport there. Step 6. If a technique starts working, any unusual sensation occurs, focus exclusively on it. If after 3 to 5 seconds, nothing happens, move to the next technique in the cycle. Step 7. If you feel you've separated but aren't sure, perform a reality check. Try to breathe with your nose pinched closed. Look at your hands. They often appear distorted when projected. Or try to push your finger through your palm. In a projected state, physical laws don't apply consistently. The key to this method is rapid cycling through techniques during the hypnopompic state, the transition from sleep to waking, when the barriers between physical and non-physical awareness are naturally thinner. In the next section, we'll cover essential practices for navigating, extending, and safely returning from projected states, as well as how to overcome the most common obstacles practitioners face. Once you've successfully projected your consciousness, 3 key skills become essential: stabilization, navigation, and safe return. Let's explore each of these critical aspects. Stabilization, maintaining the projected state. New projectors often experience an immediate snapback to their physical body. This occurs because the consciousness, accustomed to physical existence, instinctively returns to familiar territory when experiencing unfamiliar sensations. These techniques prevent premature return. 1. Sensory engagement. Immediately engage your senses in a projected state. Touch nearby surfaces, look at your hands, or focus on distant objects. This shifts attention away from your physical body and stabilizes your projected consciousness. 2. The 50-foot rule. Robert Monroe observed that projection stability increases significantly once you move at least 50 feet from your physical body. As soon as you project, move deliberately away from your body's location. 3. Clarity command. When the projected state begins to fade, visual dimming or increasing heaviness, firmly state, "Clarity now." This intention often immediately sharpens perception, combined with rubbing your projected hands together to amplify the effect. 4. Emotional stabilization. Strong emotions, especially excitement or fear, can trigger immediate return to the body. Maintain calm, Neutral observation. If you feel emotional surges, focus on your breathing pattern within the projected state. 5. Verbal affirmation. Periodically stating, "I am clear and focused in this state," helps maintain the projection. Your consciousness responds strongly to verbal commands during projection. Navigation, movement, and exploration. Moving in the projected state differs fundamentally from physical movement. Try these techniques. 1. Intention-based movement. Rather than simulating physical walking or flying, simply intend to be at your destination. Think, "I am now at the kitchen," and allow the instant transition. This feels jarring initially, but becomes natural with practice. 2. Hand targeting. For more controlled movement, extend your projected hand toward where you wish to go, then allow your entire consciousness to follow the hand. This creates smoother transitions than instant teleportation. 3. Phasing through matter. Physical objects may appear solid, but can't truly restrict consciousness. To move through walls or other barriers, affirm. All matter is permeable to consciousness and simply intend to pass through. Don't try to force it physically. That reinforces material limitations. 4-dimensional shifting. To explore beyond physical reality, use doorways as symbolic transition points. Approach any door with the intention that it opens to your desired destination or plane of experience. Your intention reconfigures what lies beyond. 5. Return anchoring. Before venturing far, establish a mental anchor at your starting point. This creates a direct return path regardless of how far you travel. Simply visualize your anchor to return instantly when needed. Safe return. Ending the projection. While most projectors initially worry about returning to their body, the actual challenge is often maintaining the projection long enough. However, knowing how to return safely provides essential confidence. 1. Body intention. The simplest return method is simply thinking about your physical body. The thought alone typically initiates immediate return. Specifically focus on feeling your physical breath or heartbeat. 2. Return command. Clearly state, "I am now returning to my physical body, fully aligned and integrated." This ensures smooth reintegration. 3. Graded return. If sudden returns cause discomfort, often described as an unpleasant slamming sensation, use a 3-stage approach. First, intend to be near your body, then align over it, then gently descend back in. 4. Integration pause. After returning, remain still for 2 to 3 minutes with eyes closed. This allows your consciousness to fully reintegrate with physical systems. Premature movement can create a temporarily disoriented state. 5. Completion ritual. End each projection session by touching various parts of your physical body while affirming, "I am now fully present in physical reality." This creates clear closure of the projected state. Common challenges and solutions. Even experienced practitioners encounter these common obstacles. 1. The fear barrier. Many practitioners report encountering intense fear, often right before breakthrough experiences. When this occurs, remember that fear in the projection state is almost always projection of your own psychological material. Turn to face the fear directly. Ask what it represents, and you'll often find it transforms or dissipates. 2. The void state. Sometimes you may project into what feels like empty blackness, neither in the body nor in a defined environment. This void state is not failure, but a valuable transition zone. In the void, focus on maintaining awareness without environment. You can exit by intending a specific destination or simply relaxing into the experience. 3. Entity encounters. You may perceive other consciousnesses during projection. Remember that your emotional state acts as an attractor. Maintain calm neutrality and set clear boundaries. Only experiences for my highest good are welcome. If an encounter feels negative, simply intend to move elsewhere. 4. False awakening. You may think you've returned to your body and normal reality, only to notice subtle differences revealing you're still in a projected state. These false awakenings can repeat several times. The solution is performing reality checks after every apparent return. Try to push your finger through your palm or read text twice to see if it changes. 5. Physical sensations. Vibrations, pressure, sounds, or sleep paralysis may feel alarming, but are normal aspects of the projection process. Rather than resisting these sensations, recognize them as transition signs and allow them to intensify, focusing on moving your consciousness through them. In our final section, we'll discuss how to interpret projection experiences, their implications for understanding consciousness, and how to develop a sustainable practice that evolves over time. Understanding and integrating your projection experiences is just as important as the techniques themselves. This final section explores how to interpret your experiences, develop a sustainable practice, and understand the deeper implications of consciousness projection. Interpreting projection experiences. Projection experiences often contain symbolic elements that may not immediately make sense. These guidelines help with interpretation. 1. Immediate documentation. Keep a journal beside your bed and record experiences immediately upon return. Include details like environments, entities encountered, emotions felt, and any messages received. Details fade remarkably quickly, often within minutes. 2. Distinguish categories. Learn to differentiate between types of experiences. Near physical projections, explorations of environments resembling physical reality. Non-physical realms, environments with different physics, colors, or properties. Symbolic encounters, experiences that communicate through metaphor. Consciousness interfaces, direct information exchanges beyond sensory representation. 3. Suspend judgment. Avoid immediately categorizing experiences as just dreams or absolutely real. Instead, adopt what Buddhist traditions call don't know mind, holding experiences without forced interpretation, allowing meanings to emerge naturally over time. 4. Pattern recognition. Look for recurring themes, symbols, or locations across multiple projections. These patterns often reveal ongoing lessons or information your consciousness is processing. 5. Cross-verification. When possible, seek verification of perceived information. Many projectors report accessing verifiable information they couldn't have known through ordinary means. These confirmations build a personal evidence base for the validity of your experiences, developing a sustainable practice. Like any significant skill, consciousness projection develops through consistent practice. 1. Frequency over duration. Short, frequent practice sessions, 15 to 20 minutes daily, produce better results than occasional long sessions. Consistency reconfigures your consciousness's habitual patterns. 2. Progressive training. Follow this developmental sequence. Week 1 to 2. Focus exclusively on relaxation and energy body awareness. Week 3 to 4. Practice preliminary states, vibrations, hypnagogia. Week 5 to 6. Work with brief projections and quick returns. Week 7 onward. Extend duration and explore distance. 3. Cyclical learning. Projection ability often develops in cycles rather than linearly. Expect periods of breakthrough followed by plateaus or temporary regression. This is normal neurological pattern formation. 4. Lifestyle support. Certain lifestyle elements particularly support projection ability. Regular moderate exercise improves energy circulation. Reduced screen time before bed enhances pineal gland function. Intermittent fasting increases subtle body sensitivity. Time in nature recalibrates your electromagnetic field. 5. Community connection. Connecting with others practicing consciousness projection provides validation, sharing of techniques, and broader perspective. Online forums, local groups, or workshops like those at the Monroe Institute offer valuable community support. Deeper implications. 1. As your projection experiences accumulate, you'll likely face profound questions about the nature of reality and consciousness. 2. Consciousness models. Projection experiences strongly suggest that consciousness isn't produced by the brain, but rather interacts with it. More like a TV receives signals rather than creates them. This fundamental shift in understanding has far-reaching implications. 3. Multidimensional existence. Consistent projectors report that our physical reality appears to be just one band in a spectrum of interconnected dimensional realities, each with different properties and forms of consciousness. 4. Purpose reconfiguration. Many practitioners report their sense of life purpose transforms as they recognize that physical existence represents just one phase of a much larger conscious journey. This typically leads to placing greater value on growth, relationships, and contribution rather than material achievement. 5. Death reconceptualization. Perhaps most significantly, fear of death often diminishes or disappears entirely among experienced projectors. Having repeatedly experienced consciousness functioning independently of the physical body, the transition called death appears more as a shift in focus than an ending. Ethical expansion. As projection experiences reveal the interconnected nature of consciousness, many practitioners naturally develop expanded ethical frameworks, recognizing that harm to others impacts the entire consciousness field that they themselves participate in. Final guidance. As you begin your practice of consciousness projection, remember these essential points. 1. Progress at your own pace. Some people project on their first attempt. Others develop the ability over months or years. Your unique neurological and energetic patterns determine your timeline. 2. Balance seeking with being. While techniques are important, an attitude of relaxed curiosity often produces better results than forceful effort. The consciousness states that support projection emerge most readily in relaxed, open awareness. 3. Integrate your discoveries. Allow your projection experiences to inform your physical life. The insights, healing, and expanded perspectives accessed during projection can transform your daily existence if consciously integrated. 4. Respect the mystery. Even the most experienced projectors report that the deeper they explore, the more they realize how much remains unknown. Maintain humility in the face of consciousness's vast potential. 5. Trust your experience. You will encounter skepticism from others and sometimes from yourself. While healthy questioning is valuable, honor your direct experience. It contains wisdom that conceptual thought cannot access. Consciousness projection offers a direct answer to humanity's oldest philosophical question: what am I beyond my physical form? Through these practices, that question transforms from abstract speculation to lived experience. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of consciousness projection techniques. If this video resonated with you, please subscribe to our channel for more explorations of consciousness, reality, and human potential. Until next time, may your journeys beyond the body bring wisdom, wonder, and expanded awareness back to your life in this physical realm.